All right. The show is recording. I'm
right,
as
all right.
prepared as I'm gonna be. We're ready to
All
do
right,
this.
Ro, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Manny, you ready?
Ready!
All right. Today is the day. After 2 weeks of waiting, after banding together to fight, to see who could win and predict the most accurate BlizzCon show, Azeroth Roundtable returns on this day, Judgment Day. My name is Ben Bumhofer. With me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. Whoa, that got weird. I've been doing a silly voice before the show, and it turns out the regular one the regular one doesn't work so well if I haven't practiced it. I don't remember how my voice works. Hello, Ben. Hi.
Oh, hi.
I'll
Hey.
just talk in a deeper register. It's easier right now. Hi, Ben.
Oh.
I'm happy to
Hey.
be here. I'm happy to be judging. It's exciting times.
I'm really glad you're judging as well.
Great. You won't be once we get started. You're going to be like, John, we need to not give you responsibilities over this ever again.
I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay.
Well, John, not only did you stand judgment over me, but you also stood judgment over two of our good friends, Rho and Manny. Welcome back to the show for this Judgment Day.
There is no fate but what we make, Ben.
We are all architects of our own fate. Bleh.
This is my favorite Terminator quote. People said it wasn't really fitting when someone went blah at the end in the middle of their serious movie, but, you know,
Yeah,
I
but
thought it
who'd have
was really
thought-
good.
They put in vampires. It was really weird, but
Bleh.
I would watch Terminators versus vampires. That'd be an interesting fight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Well, are you three ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Very ready.
I thought I was, and then I went, bleh!
I have waited a year for this day, John.
Have you now? Interesting.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have.
Well, it is an exciting day because, we've received a lot of feedback on the prediction show, some internally, some externally. For some people, it was their favorite prediction show. For some people, it was their least favorite prediction show. And you know what? We tried something different, for good or for bad. And if you are opposed to trying something different, you're going to hate this one too. Because we're going to do something a little different this year on Judgment Day. I'm going to tell you right up front that currently there is a leader, not by many points, by about 15, maybe even less than that. And there is a tie for second place on my first pass. That means right now, as the points currently stand, one of you is the Azeroth Roundtable champion, and the other two are not.
Mm-hmm.
But every year I go through and I tell you what you predicted, and sometimes somebody feels like, I gotta say something, I gotta try and get more points. And we play this little game and I go, I judged, leave it alone. Not this year. This year I'm gonna let you argue with me if you feel I have done you a disservice. But you don't get to do it for free. It's gonna cost you points. You can wager up to the value of the category to argue if you think I got it wrong. And I'll tell you, honestly, there are some of these that I think could have gone either way. And I just went, we'll go with this. So I could be swayed. Now, you don't have to participate in this in the slightest. You can ignore it. You can just let me go through and crown whoever's going to be king. But two of you are going to lose. But you have a chance to win if you play it smart. One of you could sit there idly and watch someone else rise above you without any action whatsoever. Or play it smart and maintain your lead. Or play it dumb and throw it all away. So we're going to see how it goes. So the way this will work is I will go through the categories. I will tell you what you predicted. I will tell you what I gave you point-wise. And you can either accept it or bet against it. but do so at your own risk, because if I disagree, I'm taking those points away. And yes, you can go into negatives. So, everybody understand what we're doing? Any questions?
Sure do.
Really quick, what you should, or what you're really saying is, stick around for the entire episode, because it could be full of surprises.
Yeah. Sure. That
Okay.
sounds good. That sounds great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in this.
All right, gentlemen. The first question we had was our essay question. A difficult question to open with because none of you knew what the hell you were doing. And it really showed. But here's the thing. I knew I was going to screw you all over with the multiple choice and the true-false. I knew that wasn't fair. I did it anyway because I don't care. So the idea was that the essay questions were places where you could get a lot of points to really make up for maybe the unfairness of being forced down a certain path later on. So I graded these higher. I can't really tell you exactly how I scored them, but I tried to give a lot of points in general. Ben, I said, what is BlizzCon this year? And Ben, you said, it's a rough year. This year pulls everyone together. It's a building year. Make good in the eyes of players. Show that Blizzard hasn't changed. Show that they've grown. It would be a chance for them to admit mistakes. You said it'd be another Geek is, but it would be Blizzard is. You said there would be new stuff. Pretty safe bet, but you said it. And then at the end you said Sam Demas football rules. So...
Sam Demas high school football rules.
Oh, sorry. I was doing an abridged version because I didn't want to type everything you said.
Okay.
Honestly, that was a pretty good answer. When you went through it all and you broke down what Ben said, it was a chance for them to say we need to make good in the eyes of players. They did say that they made mistakes and they needed to change it. They did try to tell us what Blizzard culture was about. San Dimas high school football does rule. And Ben, I gave you 30 points for this question because you did really well. Surprisingly.
I'm very proud of that answer, especially since I got so much crap for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You nailed it. Rho, you said that there would be a statement this year. That Blizzard has not been resting. They would come out guns blazing with new franchises, big surprises, the most unlikely game possible, Overwatch, Diablo, classic IP, all rebooted in new ways. And you were kind of there. I don't think you were quite on the level of Ben's prediction, but, you know, you were definitely doubling down on the idea of new IPs, new things. Sorry, everybody, I'm sick. I apologize. But there's going to be more of that. Prepare. I gave you 15 points for this. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't spot on. You went deep on a lot of things that proved to be incorrect, but not a bad answer overall. Manny, you said Blizzard is expanding, branching out. You said that there would be new IPs, several of them. You said not just specific franchises, in new areas and genres, and they wouldn't all be AAA. And you said Hearthstone can do small scale, or you said it would be like Hearthstone, they can do small scale, but have a big impact. And they would put a big positive spin on them branching out into new territory. And Manny, that was 100% wrong. But here's where I gave you a point, because I was like, man, everything Manny said didn't happen. I liked it. I liked the idea of it. It just didn't happen. But you said that they would show that Hearthstone could do small scale and have a big impact. And while it wasn't an exact prediction of what they did announce this new battleground mode in Hearthstone, which is a new small scale thing that's having a pretty big impact, I would say. So even though you weren't really predicting that, I gave you 5 points for it. That concludes the essay.
Can I make a case really quick?
For yourself?
No, not for myself.
No, you can't bet other people's points, Ben.
Oh no, I'm not betting any points. Well, I guess if I can't bet points, I can't really comment at all, can I?
Nope, it's up to them. If they feel strongly about what they predicted and what they did, they can bet points. It's not your job to go to bat for anybody.
How many points did Ben get?
He got 30.
Okay.
So I will say, they definitely decided to invest on their core franchises. The auto chess that they decided to put as part of Hearthstone is clearly them leveraging Hearthstone's installed user base to present basically a new game within Hearthstone itself. I did not account for that, but I still stand by. I think that they are really trying to branch out, but they're doing it in a very safe way, especially with Overwatch 2 being a sequel of a different sort, they said.
Yeah.
Cough expansion.
Expansion pack.
Anyways.
I agree, Manny. That's why I gave you 5 points. It would have been 10 points if I felt it was a spot-on prediction. But with it not quite being spot-on, I gave you 5. All right. That brings us to the multiple choice category.
Dun dun dun.
These, because again, I knew I was screwing people over with, in general, were worth 5 points each. Significantly less than the essay questions, with good reason. I said there would be a new game or expansion from. Manny, you picked first and you said, wow. And that is correct. You got 5 points. Then Rho picked and he said Diablo. That was also correct. You got 5 points. And then Ben, you went with the default leftover answer of Overwatch because I'm a nice person. And that was also worth 5 points. Everyone got 5 points. I went with the 3 most easily predicted and turns out the most accurate. Hey, look, I'm the king for a reason. I'm good at predicting.
Good job, team.
Good job, guys.
Good job,
Benevolent is his
team.
reign.
We said, was there going to be a surprise guest? Manny, you answered first and you chose the option of Diablo himself. And you know what? Diablo won the costume contest. And I honestly, had there been just a Diablo costume, I don't think I would have given this to you.
That wasn't Diablo, though, was it?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
Diablo. Ben.
Okay.
Diablo literally won the costume contest. Now, it was a herself, not himself, but that's me gendering improperly, and really that's minus 5 points for me. But Manny, I gave you 5 points for it. Ben, you picked next. You chose Chris Metzen. There was no Metzen, though. 0 points.
Even though the
Are you
voice...
betting with this argument?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead. What's your case?
The case is that on the Warcraft or World of Warcraft actor or voice actor panel, we did have Chris Metzen in the form of behind the scenes improv acting with Sarfang.
No, there's plenty of archive footage. I'm not giving you that. I'm deducting 5 points.
That wasn't archive footage. That was specific improv footage for the voice acting process. It was something new that has never been released before, and she had to go through special hoops in order to show it.
I don't know if
Like
that's a
getting special
surprise
permission.
guest, though. Chris
It was
Metzen does a lot of voices. I don't expect there to be footage.
This was specific footage that they have never released before and that they never release. They never do these sorts of things.
Yeah, you're right.
The
I'm going to
director-
give you negative 10 points now.
I'm still going with it, and I strongly believe that this was a surprise appearance by Chris Metzen.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to only make it negative 5. That's the actual rules. Ro, you got the default answer of Mike Morheim.
I did.
There's no Mike Morheim.
There wasn't. I'm sorry.
0 points.
I understand.
All right. Heroes of the Storm. There were 3 options for Heroes of the Storm. Ro, you picked first. You said that they've already shown what they have to show. And some of these, I kind of got a little creative with it. Because the truth is, as far as like the big stuff that I truly cared the most about, like a new hero, they had already shown. And I gave you 5 points for it. Manny, you picked second. You said there were still surprises in store. There weren't, but there were. See, here's the thing. I care deeply about Heroes of the Storm. I care a lot about Heroes of the Storm. And so it doesn't take a lot for me to be surprised. Saying things like you're going to experiment with game modes where minions drop XP on the ground and you have to actually pick them up, that's crazy to me. That's a huge surprise. So I also gave you 5 points. Ben Bumhofer, you said...
What game are we speaking of again?
What's Heroes of the Storm? And while I admire your dedication to the question throughout the entire prediction show, you got 0 points for that answer. StarCraft...
Wicked in the chat room. You know it's not my fault.
I love that that she gets mad at you for it every time. StarCraft 2 multiple choice. Rho, you answered first. You said there were surprises in store. And honestly, I was surprised. They talked about it, and I was like, what are they doing talking about StarCraft 2? What is this world? I gave you 5 points. Manny, you answered second. You said that they've already shown anything they're doing with StarCraft 2, which was a whole lot of nothing. And that ended up not being true. You got 0 points on that one.
Really?
Do you want to bet?
I was gonna give away my 5 points from the last one, but what are we considering actually showing stuff here?
They announced a new co-op commander. Before you make an argument, you should know I love co-op commanders, but by all means, tell me how it doesn't matter.
I'll leave it alone.
Well, and John is actually getting support from Jocelyn in the chat room.
Now, I'm considering this locked, Manny. You cannot change your answer, but I will tell you, here's how you could have gotten me. If you ask me who was the co-op commander, I can't remember.
Arcturus Minsk.
That's right. Okay. Ben, you said what's StarCraft 2? Continuing to cement your deep Blizzard fandom. And you didn't get any points for that. Diablo Immortal. I gave you 3 options. Clear, present, or danger. Ben, you got to pick first, and you said present. And it was there, actually. It was there. You could play it there on the show floor. Rho, you got to pick second, and you said clear. You're not gonna see it. And you know what? I also didn't see it. I had to go find out that it was actually there because they certainly weren't drawing any attention to it. So I gave you 5 points too. And Manny, you picked the third, or you were defaulted. Let's be honest with what happened here. The third option, which is danger. Which, you know what? Yeah, they really seem to not want to talk about Diablo Immortal because it seemed like a dangerous topic. So I gave you 5 points too. So everybody got 5 points there for the old Diablo Immortal. But I gave you the same choice with mobile. Clear, present, or danger. Manny, you picked first. You said present. No. Mobile wasn't really present. I mean, yeah, I kind of let it slide on Diablo Immortal, but now we're talking about mobile in general. And it wasn't really.
So I'm going to actually argue this one.
Okay, you're betting.
Okay.
I'm
betting.
Let's do this.
Quite simply, mobile was there. We talked about Diablo and it being in a back little corner. Mm-hmm. They still haven't decided how they're going to monetize that, and I think that's a big danger, guys. But Hearthstone is still something that they're pumping a lot of interest in, and that is primarily mobile. They've put an entirely new genre onto that. That is going to be on Hearthstone. That is them committing to putting franchises into mobile. They've decided to put it in a way that would be more acceptable, not spin it off on its own, but they're not abandoning mobile. That's not something that they're skiddage of. They're just being smarter about how they're investing into that space. And it is present at BlizzCon. It's just not in your face. This is where we're going. We still respect the PC audience.
Manny, I'm going to give you 5 points for that. I like that argument. But it does create a conundrum. Because if I'm not considering it present, then I must have considered it clear, as in not there. You have just convinced me that it was there. So I think that means that not only do I have to give you points, but I also have to remove points from clear, because I'm acknowledging now that, no, it was there. So we'll get to this next, but for now, I'm going to take points away from clear. But that's not who answered second. Ben, you answered danger. And I gave you 5 points for that, because they definitely, whether they talked about it and it was there or not, are not throwing mobile around like it's a cool, fun buzzword over at BlizzCon this year. I still consider it danger. And I gave you 5 points for that. Now, Rho, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just took 5 points away from you. They were robbed. Fairly, because I think he made a good case. But you currently have 0 for clear. I will let you make a case if you feel like I should give those points back, though.
Yeah, I can give a pretty factual statement, and you can judge with it how you will.
Are you betting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hearthstone was not playable as a demo in cell phone form.
Ooh. I'll say again. Ooh.
Do I get the rebuttal on this?
Yeah, I'll give you a rebuttal, because I'm having a hard time deciding how I feel.
That's just easily about how they're setting it up. Hearthstone is available on both platforms. It's easy for them to have stations which are far more
We're talking about BlizzCon.
locked down. Yeah, at BlizzCon, it's far more locked down to have actual stations than to jerry rig cell phone stuff. They did it with Immortal because it's specifically for that.
May I ask, if they are so interested in pushing Hearthstone as a premier mobile thing, don't you think they would have demoed the capability of Battlegrounds on a mobile platform at BlizzCon?
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I've been intrigued by Battlegrounds, enough so that I installed Hearthstone on my computer again. And the other day I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, did they add this to the mobile version too? And I sat there debating for a while going, well, I would think they would have had to, because they try to keep it connected, but is it on my phone? And I didn't know, because I didn't hear them talk about it.
Not for a beta test. It's in beta, and they wouldn't push it.
I'm giving Rho the 5 points. You're all tied for the category. I'm not taking anything away. That's the ultimate decision. You all did a very good job betting. That went really well for everybody involved.
Especially me.
Yeah, Ben, you were fine. Okay. The question was, is this BlizzCon going to be uncomfortable? And I gave you 3 options. Ben, you had the first choice, and you said people's reaction would be, oh my god, look at those games! I don't understand what's happening! That was definitely my reaction. I couldn't argue with that. I certainly felt that way to some degree. Now, I will say, part of it is because it came after what I felt was a decent enough acknowledgement of what happened, and that certainly helped. So, I gave you 5 points for that. I completely agree. Manny, you said, it was fine. I agree with that too. I didn't think it was cringy. I thought it was fine. I think anybody who, just went, look at the games, I think they're right, but I think anybody who maybe wasn't just tricked by all the shiny new games probably still felt like it was fine and not cringy. So I gave you 5 points as well. Rho, you answered third, and you were defaulted with the answer of Cringe Fest.
I was.
I didn't think it was a cringe fest.
Okay.
Anybody want to make any bets? Man, I wish I could have one Somdi here for this, because he just, I feel like that's who should be. I just feel like that's who should be running this thing right now.
You be wanted to make the Batman.
I do want to say that Nimby has said that the Battlegrounds is on mobile, at least tablet, from his understanding.
Okay, that's cool.
Not every tablet is mobile, though.
You're a tablet. All right, so we're not making bets on that one. That's probably a good answer. All right, I said, okay, well, we've talked about the big properties. Major news for Rho, you got to pick first, and you chose StarCraft. And kinda, I wouldn't say we had major news for it, but there was news, and for StarCraft, any news is kinda major news. Here's the deal, I couldn't give you 5 points for it, but I did give you 2. So, I gave you 2 points for StarCraft.
As many StarCrafts as there are?
Yeah. It's not really true, but it kind of is. Thanks for complicating it, Ben.
You're welcome.
Manny, you answered second. You chose Hearthstone. There was definitely major news for Hearthstone. Probably my bad for including it in this category. You got 5 points for it. Major news for Heroes of the Storm.
What was that?
Didn't really happen at BlizzCon. It happened before. And while there was stuff there that I was excited about, there wasn't anything that I would consider major news. So I gave you the same thing that I gave Rho, Ben, and I gave you 2 points.
Oh, thank you.
Any bets on the major news front?
No, 2's fair.
All right, I feel, you know what?
2 is more than I deserve.
This is going pretty well. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of shifting around. It's making me feel like I did a decent job as a judge so far. Okay. I said, what's the new, is there going to be a new IP and what's the genre? Manny, you said a shooter, specifically a squad shooter. Nope, 0 points. Ben, you answered second. You said a tactics game. And I looked at it and I was like, initially like, no points. And then I was like, well, this category is kind of boring if I'm just going to give you all a no and a big goose egg for it. So I let myself branch out a little bit and I said new genre. They're getting into a brawler, like a auto chess sort of thing with this Hearthstone. If that had been a different game or something like that, we'd be calling that a new IP or genre. It just happens to be in another game. So, and it's sort of tactical. Sorta. I gave you 3 points for it, is what I'm saying, is what I'm getting at.
Oh, thank you.
And Rho, you got defaulted with fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
And that, once I started considering that game, I was like, well, it's head-to-head. It's competitive. I'll give Rho 2 points for that answer. Why not? And I gave you 2 points for it.
Okay.
So we split the answer.
Yeah, actually, that was exactly it. I was like, I'm going to give 5 points for this, but how am I going to divide it?
Okay, so I'm gonna wager points again.
You're going to wager points.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're going to consider...
Okay.
If you're going to consider the the auto chess mode in Hearthstone to be a new IP, there's no way you can consider that mode separate and not consider a separate game of Overwatch 2, which has strongly PvE in systems that is squad shooting, and not give me points for that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
That is the squad PvE shooting, just not within an IP.
Manny.
And I know you're not
talking about Overwatch 2. But you make a good point.
Although PvE squad-based
Are you
fighting
betting,
is
Ben?
Yes, I'm betting.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
PvE squad-based shooting is in Overwatch 1. There are events that happen throughout the year that are PvE events where you're in a squad and you're shooting.
Yep, but
So
there
it's
is no
not
story
new
mode, and it
territory.
is not a core part of the experience. It's a holiday bonus. This is
So this is about new IPs and new genres. The
Hi,
IP
Ro.
isn't new. The genre is not new because they've already done it with Overwatch 1.
That's them experimenting, and now they're building it into its own thing, and it's something that the fans have demanded for a long time. It's just not getting a new IP.
Exactly. They demanded more of it because they got a taste in the original game because it already exists.
People demand stuff that hasn't existed either. We look at this entire auto chess thing. People are like, Blizzard, get on it. And they did. They just decided not to do any new IPs this year.
But it is a new genre, which is part of the question.
I'm sorry, that's like saying that the PvE stuff in not StarCraft, I apologize. In Heroes of the Storm means that Heroes of the Storm is a PvE game, which it just really is not outside of the simulated opponents that you can have in trial mode. This is like saying that Battlegrounds that created Heroes of the Storm, which was in Warcraft 3, is not a new IP because it was a mode that was invented.
No, because they made the actual company that made Overwatch, Blizzard, which is the one we're speaking of, created everything in Overwatch 1, like Junkenstein's Revenge, like all the different archive fights that they've had. Basically, every sort of PvE squad-based thing has existed in Overwatch 1 before. They're just putting it in a separate game, not a new genre, not a new IP.
Well, I would say that you would then be saying that the entire MOBA thing isn't a new IP because Warcraft 3 had the entire map editor and people created that stuff, and then Blizzard did their own sort of take on that.
That's right, because Blizzard went into the new genre because they created their own version of it.
This is the best decision I ever had. This is the best thing I've ever added to this whole thing.
I love how Ben's doing it because like he's just being devil's advocate here, and it's great. I love it.
Well, he's got points on the line for sure, but
okay. So
here's the thing, because it's time for me to make a decision, and I think honestly, you two have made really valid points. So much so that I almost considered going to the chat, but I'm not going to do that because I'm the judge and I'm supposed to judge and I'm supposed to figure this out and not pass my problems on to other people. But here's the deal. Manny, I know you're not going to agree with this, but when I see Overwatch and I see Overwatch 2, I just see shooter. I don't care whether you're shooting each other or whether you're shooting PvE robots, and I am not going to consider that a new IP or genre. But I do think you made a good point. So even though you bet 5 points, and in theory disagreeing with you should net you -5 for not winning me over, you kind of did. I can't give you any points for this category, but I will avoid taking any away because I think you made a hell of a good argument. Ben?
Yes, sir?
I kind of want to take points away from you. Not because I disagree with you, but because you bet and you didn't really win me over. It was more of just my own personal Overwatch biases that won it all over. But here's the thing. I definitely think that when I look at this and I go, okay, the thing I'm looking at is Battlegrounds. That's the thing that I'm considering new. And if I'm going to divide 5 points between the 3 answers here, I'm going to give most of the points to Tactics Game and less points to Fighting Game. And I'm going to keep that 3-2 split. So I'm not going to give you any points, and I'm not going to take any away. I'm going to stick with 3-2-0.
Because it was a really good argument, and I do admit that I was trying to poke holes in a pretty good argument. Can I give Manny 2 of my points and just take 1?
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Gifted points.
He did win me over with that.
I can see the totals for this. You guys. Oh my god.
Oh, I can see the totals too.
It's so
I've been
Everybody's just
keeping track
studying
the whole time.
It's so good. Yeah, but I can see the totals for the final.
Right.
I have everything added up. I can tell you right now there is still a 2-way tie and one that is different. But I won't say what positions those are all for. Could be the same, could be different. All right, let's move on. We got to the true false questions here. And boy, you know, Rho bellyached so much about RNG. But honestly, you all picked real shitty on this. And the whole, like, being forced to take an answer really worked in everybody's benefit. So, let's go through it. Let's see how everybody did. Number 1, Murlocs, you'll know it when you see it. Manny said true, which made Ben and Rho false. Yeah, I saw it. There was a shitload of Murlocs down by a fountain. And I was like, I know that. And that made me say that. That's 5 points to Manny.
I'll challenge it.
Oh, come on. March of the Murlocs.
No, I'll challenge it.
Okay. Rho, go ahead.
John, the last time that you officiated a Azeroth Roundtable challenge like this, and we had a Murlocs you'll know it when you see it question, March of the Murlocs was denied as it was not recognized as you know it when you'll see it.
That's fair. That was absolutely 100% true. Here's the problem. We've had an absolute dearth of me knowing it when I see it, and it's lowered that bar to astronomically low proportions. From something that I used to think would be a glorious, magnificent reveal to a place where now I see a bunch of people dressed up as Murlocs in a fountain, and I'm like, yeah, there's the Murlocs. That's where they are now. I still knew it when I saw it, Rho. And
Okay.
I'm giving you a -5 for that.
So be it.
All right, the second true-false question. Retro arcade is a front. Ben, you picked, and you said, that's not true. Which gave Rho and Manny a true for that retro arcade was all a front, which Rho believed in. He was happy he got true. But he shouldn't have been, because it wasn't a front, it was a retro arcade. And Ben, you got 5 points. Any challenges on the retro arcade being a front?
It was not a front. If I got points for it being called a front, I would give it up.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try and remember why I graded this the way I did. Okay, number of unannounced game/expansions is 4. Rho, you made the choice with false, and Ben and Manny went with true. And it's true. It was 4, but for some reason I gave Rho 2 points, and I don't know why. So, so here's the thing. I'm not going to take those points away because I can't remember it, because I believed it at the time. I'm gonna leave you those 2 points, but I leave people to argue and gain and lose points as they see fit. But the number of unannounced games/expansions is 4.
Did Manny and I get any points for that, or is it?
Yeah, you got
just Rho
5.
with 2?
Manny and Ben got 5. Rho got 2. I don't know why Rho got 2. It was 4. It was 4, right? It was 4.
He must have said something so convincing that you had to give him those points.
I
And
don't-
Rho, being the eloquent man he is, I don't want to argue those points.
I don't-
So he keeps them.
I don't know why. I don't know where he got those 2 from. There was something I believe. Oh, you know what I think it was? I think it was I just was pissy and was like, I don't want to count Overwatch. I think that's what it was. You know what? I'm going to bump it up to 3.
Who's
Okay.
probably spite. I'm going to give him another point for extra spite.
Yeah, you know what? He's probably right. Good argument for yourself there, Ro. I just sat there quietly, got a point for it. All right. The next true-false question was Sylvanas? Ro, you got to pick this. You said true in what was the easiest question. Because I would have given you this. Or wait, no. Hold on. Shit, I said that wrong. Ben, you picked. You said true in what was the easiest decision anybody's ever made. Because honestly, I would have given 5 points for Sylvanas, whether she showed up or not. So yeah, you got 5 points. Rho or Manny, do you want to make an argument for no till Sylvanas?
That's a no.
The defense rests.
Okay, probably.
John.
Are you going to try and
I'm
lose
actually
5 points, Ben?
No, I'm not trying to lose 5 points. I'm trying to just say it's Sylvanas. Maybe 1 more point?
No! I'm not going to take any points away because I kind of want to give it to you. You know what? I'll give it to you. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's
what we need to know is if Sylvanas was put into Overwatch, how many points would she get?
Oh, man. That would be like the one betrayal. Here's the deal, Ben. I'm giving you this point. If you win by 1 point, though, we're going to have some other tiebreaker. I can't let you win off of that. That was unfair.
No, that was so smooth. I will not contest if he wins by 1 point.
Okay. I asked, would there be talk of, or I said there would be talk of China. Rho, you said, true, there would be an official stance on it. 5 points. They did. Anybody want to contest? Okay.
Nope.
That one was pretty cut and dry. All right, we got into some researcher questions here. True or false, there will be more Blizzard protesters than Jesus protesters. I did research into this, you'll be happy to know. I did my own research. I asked 2 different people, and I got opinions, and I was told that this was true. So I gave Manny, who said true, 5 points.
Wait, what was it that Manny said again?
That there would be more Blizzard protesters than Jesus protesters.
I won't argue it.
Oh, I can't argue that.
Okay.
Especially based on effect. Or effectiveness, I should say.
Mm.
I won't argue it based on wording, semantics. Who protested Jesus at Blizzard?
Diablo?
That would be an interesting stance to take. I'm not opposed to hearing it. Okay. All of Diablo 4 was a protest to Jesus, and there was a lot more of that than... Yeah,
Depending on who you ask, definitely.
I like it. I'm going to give you 1 point, Rho.
Thanks.
For the argument not made.
And if he wins by 1 point, that's okay.
That's it. I'm going to give you all 1 extra point by the time this is done and completely nullify the extra point.
Manny, you're up.
All right. The next true false was, I'm going to BlizzCon. Ben, you said false. A somewhat informed opinion, but, you know, it turned out I did not go to BlizzCon, so you got 5 points. Rho and Manny, no points. I didn't go to BlizzCon.
I'm sorry.
I don't think I'm going to contest this one.
You're going to contest this one?
I said I don't think
I'm
going
okay.
to
I
contest
was
this one.
about to be so
I
mad
can
at you.
convince the judge that he's there. I think it's worth more than 5 points.
You were there. When you saw all that content, you were there.
The real BlizzCon was in our hearts all along.
Oh, jeez. All right, the next one I said was, there isn't going to be a WoW expansion announced. And, Rho, you got to answer this one, and you said false. It turns out that was a smart decision because they announced a WoW expansion. It happened. I gave you 5 points for that. Any arguments on this? Okay.
There was a WoW expansion?
What? Okay, I said that the costume winner will be from multiple universes combined. Manny, you said that's false. And that was... You said that was false and that was true. So you got 5 points. That was a confusing sentence. Here's the thing. It was Diablo. That's from one universe. You got 5 points. Ben and Rho got none.
Isn't Diablo from that wonderful game called Heroes of the Storm?
I gave you the Sylvanas one. Don't you dare. The Heroes of the Storm Diablo is from one universe. They're hanging out in the Nexus. It's over all universes, Benjamin.
I'm sorry. I'm just going off of previous information that I've gathered from you.
Do you
want to
bet on this thing I've already said no on?
No.
Okay.
I'm explaining why I brought that up.
Okay, that's fair. I didn't dock any points. Oh, geez.
Like,
there's a Windows notification.
Like you said, all those heroes that are in Overwatch are from that game Heroes of the Storm. Then they just plucked them out and put them in their own game. Some more thoughts.
All right. Factions are going away in WoW. Rho, you chose false for this, which I at the time was like, it seems like a risky decision. But it turned out to be a good one because it wound up being false. I gave you 5 points. Nobody else got 5 points.
It was a good decision.
I said, we are going to learn the truth about the Shadowlands. And Ben said, that's false. But it seemed like a bad idea to say because it turned out it was true.
I would like to say that no, we don't know the full truth about the Shadowlands.
Here it comes.
Because...
Wait, hold on. Wait. Are you betting?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't know the full truth about the Shadowlands. There is still a mystery of what, or first of all, who the jailer is, the exact deal that he has with Sylvanas, what is going on with the Maw, and all that stuff. There's a lot of unknowns going into it. We know what the Shadowlands are, sure, but there's so much more to unpack there that we know nothing about. There's all these questions that I saw on Twitter, in Discord, all over the place, all about the Shadowlands, specifically about the jailer, the Maw, and things tied to that.
He's not wrong.
I think he's being semantic.
I agree. It's definitely not the spirit of what was asked. The spirit of what was asked is leading up to the expansion. I kept whispering Shadowlands for like episode after episode after episode. The spirit of the question is we would finally get why I kept whispering that. There'd be some reveal. We'd get Shadowlands. That was the spirit of the question.
The expansion was the Shadowlands, but we don't know the mystery behind it.
With regards to that, we did get that. And Ben is incorrect in that regard. But he is bringing up a good point that there are questions. I'm going to cough in thought. That's how I send more blood to my brain with Con Crud. I should have made that a question. Will I catch Con Crud this year? All right.
I still think there's enough unknowns.
I'm going to give Ben the 5 points.
I'll challenge.
Before you hear what I was actually going to say fully, you're going to challenge.
Yeah.
I'm just checking with you, because that sentence was in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You want to challenge without knowing?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Of course, we're not going to know the entire full truth about the Shadowlands because we have to play through the expansion. However, before we went into BlizzCon, there was a very minimal amount that we knew about the Shadowlands as far as like how did the Shadowlands work, what did Shadowlands compose of. For instance, before BlizzCon, we didn't know that there were multiple essentially different worlds in the Shadowlands and stuff. We discovered a fair bit of truth about the Shadowlands. How we found out everything, no, but we know substantially more now than we did before BlizzCon. And I think it's definitely semantics to claim that we don't know the truth about the Shadowlands. Heck, we don't know the truth about life, the universe, and everything outside of the real world right now, if you want to go by those semantics.
John, could you do me a favor and just reread the question again?
The statement was, learn the truth about Shadowlands.
So not the whole truth, just the truth. And not quantified number of truths, just the truth.
But the entire mystery of the expansion of the Shadowlands is how come these souls and the anima and everything is going straight into the Maw.
You didn't know about anima before.
Doesn't matter what I knew before or not. The question or the statement itself is, we will know the truth about the Shadowlands. And this is the entire mystery about the Shadowlands. We do not have an answer for it.
This is not
Wouldn't
my challenge.
the discovery of what the mystery is itself be a revelation that that's relevant?
That's what we're going to be finding out when we actually play it.
But the fact is, we didn't even know that was the mystery to begin with. The fact that we even know that the Maw is a thing that exists, that all these souls went into the Maw, that's information we didn't even have going into it. I mean, yes, there is information that's yet to come in the expansion, but we learned a lot about the Shadowlands. We learned a lot about what the Shadowlands about. We had no idea what the Jailer was. The Jailer is an essential part of the Shadowlands.
But we didn't learn all about the Shadowlands.
Yes, but like I said, we're getting into semantics right now.
I know, and that's where we're
going.
Judge has it.
The judge has decided. And here's how it's going. Here's how the rule is coming down. Mm-hmm. Ben, you swayed me. There is a lot about the Shadowlands that I'm curious about that remain to be mysteries, and I gave you 5 points for it. And I was about to announce that I was going to give everybody 5 points for it when Rho jumped in, which I thought was a risky move. But here's the deal, Rho. You're right. It's unreasonable to think we're going to learn the whole truth of an expansion at BlizzCon. That certainly has never, ever been the case. And to say, well, there are still mysteries around, is technically true, and certainly an intriguing part of this, which warranted giving Ben initially the 5 points. At the end of the day, the spirit of this question, as I believed it as it was, I'm removing the 5 points. So, Rho, I'm not giving you any bonuses. Ben, I did give you those 5, but I took them away. You're not getting a negative, but you're back at 0, and the category is going to be as it was. 5 points to Manny, 5 points to Rho, 0 points to Ben.
All right.
All right.
Cutthroat.
It was pretty rough. I said, are they going to pull? And it's available today! Ben, you picked and you said true. And that gave Rho and Manny falses. And they didn't do and it's available right now. So that was 5 points to Rho, 5 points to Manny, 0 points to Ben. I said, okay, well, what about available within 2 weeks of the show? And Ben, you said, yeah, obviously. I said it was going to be available today. Of course it'd be within 2 weeks. And that was still not true. So that's another 5 points to Manny and another 5 points to Rho. And
the auto chess and Hearthstone
has not
I can
been
play it right now.
Released.
The beta.
Okay,
has.
hold on. Are we going to bet?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear your argument.
They said that those at BlizzCon will be able to play this whenever it was, and it was within 2 weeks. Just
Chad is saying goes public next week. Does it go public? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm not counting beta.
The open beta is next week.
The open beta or the release?
Yes. The open beta.
It's still available.
I feel like Chad is gonna so side against me because I don't agree with this. It's a beta. Beta's
Who cares
happened.
what Chad says? This is your game. You're the one judging this. And I'm not just saying that to try to sway you.
Well, no, because that's swaying me against you. I don't think you're intentionally swaying me against you. Because, yeah, my stance is no, betas don't count. I don't agree with that.
It is something that they did specifically say will be available within 2 weeks. They didn't specify the entire game is out. The beta is out. So if we're going word by word, like we did on the mystery of Shadowlands,
I'm going to give you 2 points for it, Ben.
Okay.
But I'm not going to take any points away from Manny and Rho.
Oh, I wouldn't expect you to.
Okay. This one, I'm so glad. This is like my happiest prediction. Not for any points reasons. Just this next one makes me so joyous, everybody. I just need to take a moment to just say how happy I am about this next one. I said Diablo 4 is not going to be an isometric game. And Manny said that was going to be true. And I was like, yeah, that's what I heard too, Manny. I was really sad about it.
I'm happy to be wrong on this one.
And
Take my 0 points with
it's
pride.
it's an isometric game. I'm not happy to not give Manny points. I like giving everybody points, but man, I'm happy it's an isometric game.
No, I'm taking these 0 points as like a badge of honor.
Yeah. I mean, if we boil it down to brass tacks on this, I think we're all happy about this, right?
Now, in the exact opposite feeling category, the next question was, Overwatch 2 is not a first-person shooter. Ben, you said true, and I wanted to believe, but it's a first-person shooter. So that was 5 points to Manny, 5 points to Rho. Next question. Overwatch 2 will get me excited. Ben, you said false. Rho and Manny, you said true. Ben, you got 5 points.
I'd like to give Ben some more of my points.
It's like I knew my audience.
He definitely did on that one. Although, here's the thing. I will be honest with everybody. I want to like Overwatch. I watch those cinematics, and I love those cinematics. I think the characters are great. I think the world's interesting. I think even the game is okay. But they haven't gotten me to love it yet. And
So you want a Netflix
they
series?
clearly don't. No, I don't want one. I don't want to watch a whole bunch of it. I want to watch the trailer and then go play a fun game associated with it. Overwatch 2, you will play as a created character. Rho, you said this would be true. And Ben and Manny, you went with false. Ben and Manny got points. Rho didn't get points.
That'd be interesting, though, if that was actually something that could happen. Obviously not in Overwatch 2.
See,
but...
that's the thing. That's what I want. And that's the problem, though. And that's what I always wonder is because... We're turning this into a roundtable episode now about Overwatch of good things. But here's the thing is they care so much about those characters. They've made the game so much about their established characters that I wonder what sort of game they can make where you're making your own. Like, does that even have any appeal? It does to me, but does that have appeal to people that are like, all I care about is whether Widowmaker and someone kiss? Like, do they care about making their own character?
I think it would, because by giving the player character the agency and all those named characters separate from the player character, you get to do like scripted events. You could be going around England fighting off whatever robots are coming, and then off to the side, Tracer comes in and says, "Oh, thank God we got these people out," and Winston comes in and they kiss her. I have no idea what the
Oh
story
my
is.
god! Tracer Winston
Whoa.
action. Oh my gosh, I want to play Manny's game so bad.
I'm sure that's in a fanfic out there.
Yeah, it has
wow.
to exist for sure.
Yeah,
I've been on the internet.
I just stand by the fact that I think an Overwatch Mass Effect style game would be amazing.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
A Mass Effect game, guys. Can we just have a Mass Effect?
Like a good one, though.
Good one?
Yeah.
like one of the first three.
Yeah, but one that's like a good one. All right, the next true false and the last true false was Hearthstone will reveal a new expansion. Manny, you picked true, and that was true. They did. There's a new expansion. It's about dragons, I guess. Something about Galakron or something. They talked a lot about Galakron. If there's one name I'll never forget, Galakron.
It sounds like an evil Transformer name, if you ask me.
Yep, that old Galakron, let me tell you. Galakron. That's 5 points to Manny, 0 points to Rho, 0 points to Ben. Unless anybody's betting, that is the end of the true or false. Nothing. Okay.
Good.
Short answer predictions. These were worth up to 10 points. If you want a challenge, I will let you bet 5 to 10. Just letting you know. Although,
Okay.
I will judge the strength of your conviction based on what you bet. Okay. So, I basically gave an open-ended answer. Just, give me a prediction. Ben, you said new IP and an action RPG. And it would be an action RPG. I've always considered Diablo an action RPG. It's not an accurate prediction, but I gave you 5 points for it.
Oh, thank you.
Rho, you said Hall E will contain a demo area for a big announcement. No, it wasn't. That wasn't there.
That was the arcade?
That was the arcade. But for some reason, I gave him 3 points. Oh,
you know what?
I know why.
Going for it.
I know why I gave.
Deathwing was playable.
Yes, that's exactly why.
That's fair. That's
really
fair.
You got 3 points for that, bro. Manny, you said there would be a push for Overwatch. Even with Overwatch 2, Overwatch 2 will be a prequel. And let me be clear, because I wrote this really weird. He wasn't predicting that push would be a mode in Overwatch. I realize now as I wrote that, I literally put, geez, Manny predicted the exact game mode that's getting added to Overwatch. That's not what he said. It's just how I wrote it.
More like there'd be more of a, hey guys, Overwatch, like
Yeah.
over enthusiasm for it kind of push.
But here's the thing. I feel like you can't really encourage people about Overwatch 2 without encouraging Overwatch 1, because they're basically the same game. So I gave Manny 5 points for that prediction, because I was like, it's as accurate as Ben's was. Why not? 5 points. Any thoughts on how I have graded your first short answer? Any bets?
Could you reread what Manny said really quick?
Yeah, he said there would be a big push behind Overwatch, even with Overwatch 2, but that Overwatch 2 will be a prequel.
Okay, so
No,
excluding
I think
the
five is good
Overwatch,
for that.
yeah, excluding the prequel thing, like, I have never seen them pull a game forward while launching a sequel the way that they did Overwatch 2. To the fact that I feel like Overwatch 2 even feels like an expansion on the first game and not a full game on its own. So, yeah, all right, no, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think I agree with that. That's why I think that's why I gave it 5 points. I'm with you.
Can I make a statement? This isn't a bet. This isn't anything on that. I think it's definitely worth 5 points. I want to give it more, but with the wording on how you describe what Manny said, I think 5 is good. But I think out of all of us, he's probably the closest.
You're right. I'm going to give him
prediction.
6. I'll give him an extra point.
Oh, there was my 1 extra point. We've been validated the extra points.
But I mean,
We've officially done it, everybody. We got there.
Good job.
We
not
knew we
just because of
would.
the 1 point, but no, I really think that Manny was in that one probably the closest out of all of us, just because of how much they were basically saying, hey, Overwatch 1 is still a thing and we're still supporting this to the point where all the crap in 2 mostly is going to be in 1. So
To the point that they're saying that
Good on-
Overwatch 2
good on
and
that.
1 will eventually be the same client.
Here's
Yeah,
here's one that could be really interesting, you all. If you've enjoyed the moments where people argued, I'm not going to say it's going to happen on this one, but it could. Okay. The next prediction that happened. Let's start with Manny. He said it'll be hard to get to food trucks because of protesters. Manny, you know as well as I do that, yes, it is hard to get to food trucks. But it has nothing to do with protesters. It's hard to get to food trucks because of food trucks. They create their own traffic jam. They're their own hurdle. They're their own worst enemy. But it is hard to get to food trucks. And I gave you 3 points because, yeah, it is hard to get to food trucks. Rho,
Okay, I'm gonna let this go. All right.
do you want to hear the grading or do you want to bet?
No, let's keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Rho, you said Overwatch. Overwatch 2.
6 Roadhogs enter. Overwatch.
Overwatch 2 will overlap skins will overlap with Overwatch, and you said skins will carry over into Overwatch 2. This was a freakishly accurate prediction, and then you got full 10 points for this. This was top tier. This was
Totally
a
agree.
solid freaking prediction. Good job,
Nailed it.
man.
Thank you.
Contrary to that, Ben said Overwatch 2 does not exist and will not be announced, which I gave him 3 points for. Because
the spite. I feel like I would rather everybody else's points be lowered by 3.
Because, you know what? They did announce Overwatch 2. It does exist, but does it?
See, I want, like, part of me wants to challenge this, but I know how you feel about this, John, so I'm not even going to bother.
I think I should get 1 more point for it. Because it's a freaking expansion with added stuff.
I love Ben's, like, just give me 1 more point.
Well,
like...
no, I legitimately think it's not worth 5. It's definitely not worth 10. Rho is hands down the winner of this exact bit right here. I think I need 1 more point.
All right, Ben, in a world where you can only bet 5 or 10, are you willing to go up to 5 and potentially risk going to -2 on this answer?
No, I can't do that.
Okay.
It's not worth that much more points.
All right, then we will go to the next prediction. Ben, you said the WoW expansion was going to be one of the unannounced panels. You were correct. Rho, you said Diablo 4 is going to be one of the unannounced panels, and you were correct. Manny, you said one of the unannounced panels is going to be a new IP, or maybe 2. One is in a near-Earth setting. The breakdown of points was 10 points for Ben, 10 points for Rho, and 0 points for Manny. We all good with that?
Does Overwatch 2 count as a near-Earth setting?
No.
Okay.
It's near future Earth.
Counts.
Not fighting that one.
Yeah, but we're talking new IP.
New IP.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overwatch
I know.
established.
I'm just ballparking, just throwing it out there. You know,
Yeah.
getting the feel
Let
of the
me tell
crowd.
you, Ben, you don't need to campaign for Manny. He's doing just fine.
Yeah. No, I'm just look. I think you know that, especially after the year that I was King of Azeroth Roundtable, and I got called out by every single person. I try to be as fair as possible now.
Right now, there is a 3rd place. The 3rd place is 11 points behind 2nd place.
Mm-hmm.
2nd place is 3 points behind 1st place.
Ooh.
Just letting you know where everything stands. As it currently stands, without any betting. So, you know, use that to your however you want. All right, I mentioned that on our overlay that I had put a little picture of a boat. And I asked if the boat was indicative of anything, if I had accidentally stumbled upon a glorious prediction of some kind, unknown to me, really just calling the shot. Ben said, yeah. And Rho said, yes, there will be a boat during the opening. And I said, Rho, yes or no? And he pushed it. It didn't matter. You weren't getting any points either way. Manny said no. And Manny got 10 points for that because I didn't call a damn thing with that boat. There wasn't a boat to be seen.
Yeah, it's very landlocked, it seemed.
Yes.
But if there was, though, can you imagine how great that could have been?
Oh, so good.
I mean, Toronto is near a lake. Maybe if they had slipped a boat into that map.
They might have.
There might
No,
be
they
one. I
didn't.
didn't see one. All right, let's get through this one more easy category so we can get to a really controversial category. Lich King was the question. Ben, you said nope. I just want to take a moment to laugh at that in retrospect. Anyway, Rho, you said yes. Manny, you said yeah.
I think I said, yeah.
I wrote it down. Yeah. I drew it out. That's 10 points to Manny and 10 points to Rho. Yeah, the Lich King. He was there doing Lich King things. All right.
Oh, no.
Are you-
do not
Ben?
do, like, lost the crown. And
Ben, are you out of your goddamn mind?
Down that one down.
I'm not betting this. I'm just saying Arthas is the Lich King.
I'm not going to give you anything for that, but yes, you're right. Okay. Musical guest. The favorite prediction of the whole show by everyone, I think. And I think you're all going to really love how I graded this. Ben said Russell Brower. I gave him 0 points. Rose said there would be multiple, some orchestra, I can't read, some orchestra doing music from Blizzard games. I gave you 3 points for that. There was definitely multiple. Yeah, you didn't really call it, but yeah, you said words that were accurate in a relatively pleasing fashion. 3 points. Manny, you said the Hilton DJ. And
His year will come.
And honest to God, as funny as it was, I feel like you got closer to nailing the musical act than anybody else did. So I gave you 5 points for it.
Worth it. Worth it. I cannot argue that.
Was it the Hilton DJ? I don't really know, because I don't know who the Hilton DJ is. I suspect it wasn't. But it sounded not unlike the Hilton DJ to me.
Yeah, you know what? I give you that. It sounded Hilton DJ-esque. Yeah.
I gave you 5 points. It seemed fair to me. So.
I won't fight it.
All right. We're all good with musical guests. Craziest prediction time. Ben, you said Blizzard is making a Souls game. No, they aren't. 0 points. Rho, you said Blackthorn is getting a reboot. Nope, it isn't. 0 points. Yeah. Manny, you said Hearthstone would be adding other franchises beyond Warcraft. Nope, they didn't. 0 points. Y'all got goose eggs. Does anybody want to try and not get a goose egg?
No.
Okay, so Torghast is kind of like a roguelite Dark Souls go-to-you-die thing. No, I'm joking. I can't argue somebody else's point.
No, we're not doing it. But
you're trying to get me to argue that point.
I'm thinking about it. Okay. Seriously, will I care about Overwatch? This was your chance. I felt bad that I forced probably 2 of you to get the wrong answer earlier. So this was your point to at least, I don't know. It still left everything equal because you all predicted the same thing. I said, seriously, will I care about Overwatch? Ben said no. Rose said no. Manny said, sarcastically, oh yeah, and it'll be a MOBA. And then he went, no way. But, so I gave you all 10 points. And Manny, I'm going to give you 11.
That's what I was going to argue for my next point.
So if he wins by 1 point.
That was a legit 1 point. That was pretty good.
And mine wasn't?
That was pretty good. Yeah, your 1 point was pretty good. We'll see where we end up. We'll see where we end up.
Okay.
The most incorrect prediction. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Manny, you said the most incorrect prediction would be the Hilton DJ. Rho, you said the most incorrect prediction so far would be the Hilton DJ. Ben, you said it would be Russell Brower will be conducting. And guess what? I gave more points for Hilton DJ than Russell Brower, which means, Ben, you get 10 points for that. That was accurate. Russell Brower was a much more incorrect prediction than Hilton DJ.
And I would like to point out that it was my own prediction that I said was the most incorrect.
I mean, I can't argue that logic.
Anyway, there was a lot of band talk for a while, and we went back and I decided to give you all another chance to guess the band. Ben said Third Eye Blind, Rose said Disturbed, and Manny said Pink Floyd. And none of them went on to play, so you all got no points for that. Here's a fun one. Then I asked, did we try? Ben said, yes, we tried. Rose said, yes, we tried. Manny said, no, we didn't try. I gave nobody points for this because I feel like we really just didn't try, but I felt like I was trying. All right. So, this one... how are we going to handle this one? This is an interesting one. The question was, who won so far? Ben, Manny, or Ben said Ben. He believed in himself. Rho said
I always
Manny,
do.
and Manny said Ben.
I have the
I'm
current
pretty sure I said Wicked Kitten.
You
Yeah.
did, actually, and then you changed it to Ben when you
I
were
was forced
pressed.
to.
Yes.
I've been tallying every question along the way. In the anticipation of this question, actually.
So, I mean, that's the question. Do I go off of what my point totals were at the time, or do I
Yes.
go off of what they are now?
I think you should go by what they are now.
I think it should be at the time, because at the time, if you think about it, that would be what we had in the predictions on the show. If you go up to that point, who would have been in the lead? That's before we started this show, which happened after you asked that question.
Oh, who's winning right now? Yeah, it would have been who would have been winning based on your points before. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, so is everybody in agreement that we are going off of what my numbers were at the time that I got to grading this
Yes.
Yes.
back then?
Yes.
Then the answer was, at the time that I put numbers down and had to grade this, at that time, Ben was the winner. Which means 10 points to Ben and 10 points to Manny. Tough world we live in.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us to the second essay question, which again is worth a tremendous amount of points because I wanted to be somewhat fair to you guys. Even as I treated you so unfairly in the last episode, it's time to be fair. Ben, your essay was, there would be a WoW expansion, we would go into the Voidlands, Overwatch 2 is not a thing because Overwatch is fine, Diablo 4 is announced and will be awesome, Diablo Immortal is actually kind of cool, StarCraft 2 will be there, you said Heroes shot their information already.
Yep, that is what I said.
You said there'd be a new Hearthstone expansion, an overall new action RPG, and China will not be talked about, but subtle if they do. A little bit all over the place, but there was a lot right and a lot wrong. And I'll tell you, when I graded this, I was grading mostly on hits. I wasn't really doing any subtracting or anything like that. I was just mostly like, is what he said accurate? Give him points based on how accurate from when he said it. Don't add points if it's wrong. If it was kind of right, give a little bit of points. Through my overall determinations, I gave you 42 points for this essay question. You played it a little safe, but you said a lot of things that were true. WoW expansion. We're not going to the Voidlands, but I also wasn't 100% sure if you meant Shadowlands and you accidentally said Voidlands. So I think I might have given you a couple points for that. Sorry. Anyway, Overwatch 2 is not a thing. I'm sure I gave you points for that because Overwatch is fine. I definitely didn't give you points for that. Diablo 4 is announced and will be awesome. That certainly earned points. Diablo Immortal is actually kind of cool. Nah, not really. StarCraft 2 will be there. It was. Heroes shot their information already. Yep. Hearthstone has a new expansion. Yep, absolutely. Overall new action RPG. I gave you credit for this before, but I didn't give it credit now because Diablo 4 you already talked about.
Fair,
and China
fair.
will not be talked about. Subtle if they do. Not true. Didn't happen. Number I came out with was 42. Let's go through
Left
the
the
others.
universe and everything.
Yeah. Rho. You said Overwatch 2, WoW expansion featuring the Infinite Dragonflight, Diablo 4, Diablo 2 Remastered, Blackthorn rebooted, mobile, StarCraft as a mobile, all playable in Hall E, biggest BlizzCon in some time, will address China at some point but not at the start, RNG kinda sucks and doesn't feel good.
Please tell me you gave him points for that.
I for this answer overall, I gave you 33 points.
Okay.
Overwatch 2, yeah, absolutely. WoW expansion, sure, but not featuring the Infinite Dragonflight. Diablo 4 did happen, not Diablo 2 Remastered. Blackthorn didn't happen. Yeah, StarCraft as a mobile, no. All playable in Hall E. There were games playable, but not the ones you mentioned. Biggest BlizzCon in some time? Yeah, probably. I think I gave points for that. I think it was for sure. Will address China at some point, not at the start. Couldn't give you full points for that because you had to throw in not at the start, which is exactly when they did it. RNG kind of sucks and doesn't feel good. Wrong. This has been the most fun we've ever had on this show.
What? I'd give him points for the RNG.
I'm probably dead.
It was the key point of their design philosophy in the Warcraft panel. I really feel like he deserves points for that.
I think I actually did give him points for the WoW angle to what he was saying at the time.
I am totally fine with your judgment based compared to the points you gave Ben. I'm totally fine with how many points you gave me.
Manny, you said it's been 25 years of Warcraft. We'll see a huge celebration. Release date for Warcraft 3 Reforged. A lot of Warcraft. Blizzard isn't going to be the slow lumbering beast of the past. It's going to move fast and be innovative. They will address China before the opening ceremony by J. Allen Brack. You didn't... Here's the problem with your essay, Manny. Your essay's actually pretty good in places, but these two yahoos played it real safe by using buzzwords like Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 and things that wound up happening which didn't get mentioned. And unfortunately, that avoided giving you as many points as I would have hoped. It was 25 years of Warcraft. They did acknowledge that, although they didn't lean into it quite as much as it made it sound like. There was no release date for Warcraft 3 Reforged. There was a decent amount of Warcraft, but not so much that I went, wow, there's so much Warcraft. Blizzard isn't going to be the slow lumbering beast of the past. I didn't feel that was true when they turned around and said, Diablo 4 isn't coming soon. It isn't even coming Blizzard soon. And I went, no! We'll move fast and innovate. I didn't really feel that. But they did address China before the opening ceremony, and it was J. Allen Brack who said it. I gave you 25 points for the essay. Now, does anybody want a regrade? Does anybody think that in the week since I went through this, if I regrade this, I will get you a better total?
So, people at the con that I was speaking to, including actually Nimba Hughes in the chat, on the grounds, the 25 years was a big thing. It's just what wasn't translated well into the virtual ticket.
Okay.
So they were giving away mugs for 25 years. In fact, another friend of mine, a streamer, was saying that they closed the store down after they ran out and then gave people mugs in line. Like it was a big handout sort of thing. Go ahead.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Do you recall 5 years ago?
No.
You went to BlizzCon 5 years ago when they had like the 10-year anniversary of Warcraft and 20th Warcraft and 10th of World of Warcraft.
That sounds like something I'd do.
It was essentially the same thing as what they did 5 years ago.
They did have a big toast outside.
Yes.
Here's the problem. And I totally believe Manny. I don't think he's just fishing for points.
No.
But at least once in the show, and I think multiple times, when we came up against questions where I said, oh great, it's a question I'd have to be there to get the answer to, I said that if I can't determine it from home, I'm not giving points for it. And so, Manny, if you want me to regrade yours, I will, but I'll tell you I'm not going to give a baseline additional points off of that.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. We will move on to something that's easier to argue against then, because essays are hard to argue with. I said, are we setting the bar too high? And Ben, you said, no, you've predicted what you expect, and you said maybe the bar could have even been higher. And I kind of thought you were BSing, because I thought you were setting the bar pretty high. So I gave you 2 points for that. I should say, I think we're back to 5-pointers after this. So this is not a 2 out of 10. This is a 2 out of 5. Rho said, I'm pretty sure I'm not winning. You just want points. I thought that was pretty honest. Honestly, these may have been out of 3, because I think I was like, yeah, that's 100%, and I only gave you 3 points for it. Manny, you said the bar is too high. You said you made a lot of safe bets, but there's a lot expected. And I thought that was pretty accurate. I gave you 3 points as well. Then things got weird near the end, and I just started asking one of you questions for reasons that I don't know. So I just started throwing points where people said accurate-ish things. And I said, hey, WoW Classic, and Rose said no, and I gave him a point for some reason, but only one. And I think it's because I didn't feel like they were really, like, they weren't really into WoW Classic. They talked about it. It was there, but I certainly didn't feel...
It was in the conversation.
I didn't feel like they were like, here's what we're doing for Burning Crusade, here's what we're doing for Lich King. Like, I didn't really feel like it got a whole lot of points. Ben, I asked about Warcraft 3 Remastered, and you said yes, release date and skins. We didn't get a release date. The skins were already flooding out, so I gave you 1 point for that. I was just being generous with points. I don't know why I was giving points for these, but it's fine.
This is the highest point scoring one of all time, by the way.
Classic or Remastered, Manny, you said we would see remastered stuff to reflect canon, and when we would get Phase 2 for Classic and beyond. They did talk a little bit about that stuff, and I gave you 2 points for it. Then Rho was like, hey, I want another prediction. And I said, if I give you another prediction, I have to give everybody a prediction. And he said it anyway. And he said, beta for Reforged will be the thing dropping within 2 weeks.
And it did.
It did. I only gave you 2 points, though. I don't know why. But it actually dropped before the con, didn't it?
Yes,
people were getting into the beta before the con.
It's still within 2 weeks of Blue.
Okay, well that's why you got 2 points, because that's bullshit. Yep. Okay, so Ben, I said what will we get a release date for, and you said the charity pet, and that's true. It's also a stupid bullshit answer, so I also gave you 2 points for it. Then I asked Manny what would the charity pet be. He got mad at me for it because he felt your 2 predictions were really easy and I gave him a hard one. And he said a little ghost dog, which isn't what it is. So I gave him a 0, but then I asked him a follow-up and said, hey, are we going to get a release date for Diablo 4? And he said no, and that was true, so I gave him 3 points.
If I had accurately guessed that Apaka, I should have gotten like 100 points right there. No, sorry. 100 points is DJ. Apaka's like maybe 20.
All right. We're at the end. You all have been tabulating, which I was going to encourage not doing.
I have not.
No, I have not.
Oh, you haven't?
I've been tabulating. I'm not saying anything, though. I think I know where the results are, though.
So, this episode has gone on very long. So
that's okay. These usually do.
Let's go ahead and get ready to crown the next Azeroth Roundtable champion. It was close. It was damn close. First, in third place, with 168 points, Rho. Let's give it up for Rho. He goes bold. He goes big.
May I just say I am glad that we chose not to have wagers this year for the losingest loser.
Oh, that's right. We didn't do that.
To be fair, that's the thing that you implemented.
True.
There is a 1 point difference.
Oh.
Between first and second place. 1 point. Although, actually, hold on. You all talk amongst yourselves. I need to check something here.
Oh, okay.
That sarcastic gnome might have been.
John, just in case you're curious, I did look up the football record for San Dimas High School football. This year, they do, in fact, indeed rule.
Okay. I was trying to find who
They
all I
have
gave.
They have an overall record of 9-1, a league record of 5-0.
Here's the thing. I gave some for funnin' bonus points over the course of the thing because I didn't think it was going to come down to be this close.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to know that if those weren't given, what the outcome would be. So I just went through and I looked, and I determined that this would be the same outcome without those points. If I subtracted those points from each of you, it would still be off by 1 in favor of the person that we're going to crown.
Okay. Before you announce it, Manny, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Oh yeah, this has been an amazing experience, and even if I have to live under your boot, it was good having this competition.
Well, you do know that if you win, you have to come back and run it next year.
Yeah, you have to do all the work.
And
Well,
it's a
we might
blessing
make
and a
it
curse being the king of Azeroth Roundtable.
Everybody, our winner with 181 points,
Dang.
beating second place with 180 points, is Ben.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Ben, congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
You did it. It was hard fought. I will say this. This whole betting thing has been a fun and dangerous experiment. Had we not done it, if we had gone just purely off what my grade was prior to all this. Actually, I can tell you, because I can just not save this Excel document and reopen it.
That is one way to do it.
And everybody can see it as I do it, because that's how we do things here. Okay. Where is it? Now I don't know how computers work. Okay, there it is. All right. The original totals, before all the betting was involved, was a two-way tie for second place between Rho and Manny at 171 points each, and Ben winning with 185. So, as fun as the betting experiment has been, the outcome ultimately was the same.
John, I have a few words to say.
Okay?
First of all, thank you very much for crowning me as the first ever 2-year in a row Azeroth Roundtable King.
Wait, you can't be 2 years in a row.
Because,
Oh, yes, he
John,
can!
you were so sure that you were the winner that we all just went with it. And then I went back and listened to something, which I'm going to play right now.
I still think Rho nailed a lot of really strong predictions. And I think he did it in a way that really makes a strong case that he could win this thing and could be the champion. But every time I turned to math, Ben came out ahead. And even though I hate math, I'm not going to argue with it. Ben, you are the Azeroth champion this year.
Aww.
Hey! Good job, man.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, do you know how long we have been waiting to reveal this to you?
Well, I don't get it.
That was
You-
from last year.
You ran the thing last year with Ben, me, and Thorn. Thorn was the losingest loser. Look back at the episode.
Wait a minute. What? Then why am I hosting this damn thing?
That's a great question.
See, John, You were so sure that you won, and
That sounds like me.
In your defense, last year was weird, and it was a horrible BlizzCon time for me, and it just kind of all went bleh. But you were so sure about it that I went with you on it. Rho went with you on it because we were like, oh yeah, he said he's the winner, cool. And then we had our episode of Realm Restarts, and we kind of like, wait a minute, didn't I win? And then so we're like, John still thinks that he won. I'm gonna let him do this as king. It's my prerogative. I'm gonna let him do it.
That's amazing.
And now you know why Ben and I were still talking when we ended the call last week or 2 weeks ago.
This is the best year ever.
No, what you need to do, John, is listen back one more time. I was subtly hinting at surprises about things, and
Oh, yeah.
Rho was with me on this. And every now and then, like, we would look at each other and just hold it together, but almost burst out laughing and dying the entire time.
I was not part of this conspiracy.
On an episode of the Rolling Restart, on the last episode of Rolling Restart with Ben, we know there's a lot of people from this show that listen to Rolling Restart, and I told people listening to the Rolling Restart, if you listen to Azeroth Roundtable, we are asking you not to say a thing on Azeroth Roundtable to let John continue believing this. And all of you who listen to both shows, thank you for keeping silent.
Appreciate that.
That's amazing. I'm a little mad that I did all this work for nothing. But overall, this was really good. Ben, that's pretty dominant, man. That was well played.
Yeah, it's funny because after we recorded the episode, I was kind of sitting there, I'm like, oh man, he put so much work into this. I don't know if I want to do this or not. But then I'm like, no. And,
you did the right call. You did the right call.
And I will say, Rho backed me on this. Nevermore was in my corner too. She's like, you know what? This is something John would totally do. You need to do this.
I would 100% do this.
Yeah. Nevermore's like, hey, you should put sad music under this. I'm like, okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Year
As
ever.
the only two-time in a row champion.
On a show where that shouldn't be possible.
Oh, and thank you so much for the subscription off of that.
Oh my gosh.
I have a feeling you'll remember that I won next year.
Will I, Ben? I apparently lost an entire year.
And we brought Manny back, who thinks he's champion.
Oh, but the BlizzCon prediction shows are some of my absolute favorite. We always have fun. So if you didn't like how it was set up, you can blame me.
He let this happen.
You can blame me. But John, thank you so much for all the work you did put into it. Not just as haha you did it, but you really did. It takes a lot of time and effort to go through and do all the judging and corroborating information, stuff like that. So I thank you for doing that. I mean, even if I didn't play this fun little trick on you, I would still be thanking you for it.
I made your crown bigger on the stream.
Nice.
His crown grew 2 sizes that day.
Yes, to properly reflect status. Honestly, I was so conflicted now about picking you over Manny, but for this level of troll, that's pretty good, and I feel like well-deserved, and I would have
Should I get a point?
Sure, why not? You get another point.
Oh, again, though, Manny, very well played. Thank you very much for joining us these 2 episodes. Until next time we have you on, where can people find you?
So I can always be found over on Twitter. That's True Villain Manny, true without the E. And of course, I can be found on my Warcraft podcast. That is For Azeroth, which can be found on Twitter at Faz Podcast, or you can find our shows over at TGI Studios, where you can find the in-depth show notes where we just tackled all of Shadowlands, which, my God, there's a lot that they revealed, even if we don't have all the truth.
That's right, we don't. Brian, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Brian Podcaster, and you can check me out on other shows such as Realm Maintenance, Hearth Casual, Rolling Restart, and Plus 5 to Hit.
All right. Plus 5 to Hit. That's a pretty good show. I recommend that one.
Indeed.
So, John,
Yes.
if people are wondering where they can find you, where would they be doing that?
Well, when I'm not busy proclaiming myself the winner of things I didn't actually win, you can find me. I just didn't want to give it up. You can find me on Core.
Core!
That's a video game show that I do as part of the Frog Pants Network. You can also catch me on There Will Be Dungeons, playing a little Dungeons and Dragons, and you can find out more about that at therewillbedungeons.com. And that's it. Those are the places. Ben,
Yes, John.
where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I'm at Ben Bumhofer. You can also listen to me on other shows where I'm not as trolly. On Box Fort with Eludra, where we talk about all things geeky. I do a show with Ryan Reeder called D in Discussions, where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons stuff based on a like a DM or a player perspective. We kind of juggle around and everything. And of course, don't forget Plus 5 to Hit. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game that I play in. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. This show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at Azeroth RT. Any questions, comments, anything that you want to say about this BlizzCon resolution episode, send those into AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. And of course, all of our episodes are found on AzerothRoundtable.com, as well as on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all those fun places. Last but not least, we do stream Friday nights on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. Because we're in Arizona and we don't believe in daylight savings one way or the other, we'll be recording at 7 p.m. Pacific starting next week.
Wait, yes, that's right.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, 7 p.m. Pacific starting next week. So make sure to check us out live. We have a lot of fun. The chat room's always hopping and pretty awesome. So make sure to swing on by and check that out.
That's right. Hey, everybody, we had a lot of fun. And if you want to make sure we keep on having fun like this, you can support us by going to patreon.com/AzerothRT and becoming a patron. We always want to give a shout out to the Murloc Club who support us and go above and beyond. That's Aaron, Blixie the Rogue, Brandon O, Jesse O, Caleb M, Kilroy Tastic, Sarah M, and Taryn. Thank you so much for your support.
Also, I'd like to thank our newest patron, Ryan R, for joining the whole club.
Is that R Ryan R?
Different Ryan R,
Okay.
but I don't give last names unless people say it's okay.
Well, I don't, but there was one that we know, and we probably could have said the last name of.
Yeah, I mean, unless he doesn't want to be associated with us. I mean,
Why not? I've played Heroes with that guy. We shouldn't want to be associated with him. You want to play
do a
with a
show with
Fury
him.
variant all the time? Play with him.
That's right. And folks, until next time, make sure to check us out. All of us, we have a good time. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I'm just giddy for winning again. I'm thank you. But until next time, be good to each other. Bye, everybody. And hey, that's a podcast.
Oh, I should stop the recording.